Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry we're late. I had to figure things out. I goofed. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. But what a week. There were some really good games this week.
Yeah. And there were some really bad games this week.
There were some really good goals this week.
That's true.
Probably a contender for goal of the season. And we'll go over that as well. Let's start with first game of the week. Where is it? Was the West Ham Arsenal game.
Yes.
And did not end up the way that I thought it would. Arsenal still in their slump. They ended up losing 1-0 from... Who was it that scored? It was Declan Rice.
His first Premier League
That's
goal.
right, and it was the assist from Samir Nasri. Samir Nasri's first game back playing football. I think he's gonna be very happy at West Ham, especially under Manuel Pellegrini. Hopefully, if he continues to play like he played, he'll be a star at West Ham for sure.
He looked good.
Yeah. Taking that much time off of football and still looking like that is insane. He looked really good.
He looked comfortable.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's a really good signing for West Ham. I'm excited to see what he does, what he brings to the team. And he's already helped bring a win against Arsenal. So he's already doing something right. You want to talk about Liverpool?
Yeah, we can talk about Liverpool.
I know you've got some feelings specifically about Liverpool.
I mean, they got the win. They got the 3 points, and for about another day, they were, 7 points ahead of City, but City came back and got those. So it's still 4 points in first place. Mm-hmm. And it was a win. It was 3 points. It was 3 points away from home, but they did not look good at all. No. It was a penalty kick. And it was a really soft penalty.
It was.
I think it was a dive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say it straight out. And there's, I've got some fans out there, Liverpool supporters as well, who are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. You're allowed to. But I saw the replays. I looked at them online afterwards. It looked like a dive.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing because Mohamed Salah is better than that.
Well, and that's the second one I've seen this season.
I think Liverpool got a bit lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton's not the toughest team to play against.
But they came to play.
Yeah, but they came to play, and they never gave up. I mean, their response was what it should have been. They kept trying, and it didn't happen. Liverpool did not play like champions in that match. There's a screw loose. And I think they'll figure it out.
It may have been just the kind of the hit that they took when they lost to City.
Well,
I mean,
that could be because they lost again to Wolves right after
exactly.
that in the FA Cup.
That's a morale that's a big morale shock to them. I'm sure. So hopefully they can step it back up.
But yeah, they got to get that back because that was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they got lucky. I think they got lucky.
And they don't have
What
much...
are your comments? What's Seamus saying to us?
They don't have much room to mess around either. They're 4 points, so technically they've got a game that they can kind of move with, but I mean, I would try and keep that 4-point lead even bigger if possible.
No, and that is a good point though. Seamus disagrees. He thinks it was not a dive. That's okay. I'm sure there's a lot of people. Well, obviously the referee didn't think it was a dive. Mm-hmm. And the point he's talking about, they lost to Wolverhampton in the FA Cup, and yeah, it was not Liverpool's first team. It was not second team. It was a lot of the younger kids from the academy and stuff like that. So yeah, it was basically their third string. But still, it takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails. I mean, are they still reeling from a loss to City? I hope not. I mean, if you're going to lose your unbeaten streak in the Premier League, Manchester City's the one to lose it to.
Yep. especially nowadays.
Yeah, they're a machine.
But going back to the using the academy players and the third squad, Liverpool are gonna have to start drawing from that. Because Dejan Lovren's out. Just recently, Trent Alexander-Arnold is gonna be out for, I believe, 4 weeks. I think he picked up a knee injury.
He picked up an injury. I think it was an ankle injury.
He played the full game.
He played 90 minutes. He picked it up in warm-ups the other day against Brighton. I'll take 15 more 1-0s. Yeah, me too, bro. Without a doubt, it was a win. We'll take the 3 points for sure. I just, I like the team that I'm supporting to. I mean, just go out and just ravage people. I want destruction in their wake.
The way that City does.
Yeah. No mercy. But, yeah, I'll definitely take 15 more 1-0s for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold picked up I think it was an ankle injury in warm-ups.
And Fabinho was already playing center back, so they're already they're down to the point where they're using midfielders as center backs, and he had a fantastic game.
I think he had a really good match. Yeah.
Not sliding him at all. He played a center back really well. But I mean, to show that depth is kind of dwindling a little bit, it could hurt in the long run if they don't get that fixed, especially while the January transfer window is open.
Well, and I think they have what it takes to fix it. Like I said, I think they didn't play like champions the other day, but they are a champion caliber team, and they've shown that over and over and over. They'll pull it back out. Jurgen Klopp's a good leader. Mm-hmm. They've got good leadership on the pitch, and I mean they're gonna be okay. I just think that maybe it was just another one of those ones they maybe underestimated their opponent a little bit. It could be it. I don't know.
Moving on to Fulham-Burnley. Fulham score 3 goals on Burnley. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, they still lost.
That's not what I'm laughing at. Seamus put a really cool comment. He goes, "You could put my Nan besides Big VVD, and she'd be all right."
That's true,
and that's absolute fact.
Virgil
is the man.
Scary as a defender.
Yeah. He's so calm.
He is.
But
anyways, Fulham 3 goals. Only one of them for them though. And the one that they scored is the goal that we're talking about, goal of the season. If you have a chance to go and look at Andre Schürrle's goal in the 2nd minute,
that was a ripper. And he knew it as soon as he hit it. He knew, and it was a fantastic goal. But yeah, Fulham scored all 3 goals in their 2-1 loss to Burnley
in 23 minutes
at Turf Moor.
Within 23 minutes.
Yeah, so just really unfortunate for Claudio Ranieri's troops. To score 3 goals and only one of them count for you, it kind of sucked. They were up 1-0 pretty early on. Andre Schürrle's goal, definitely goal of the week, I think. And a contender, as remains to be seen for goal of the season. Because it was straight laces through it. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. But Fulham showed a lot of character. To me, they did.
Yeah.
They went up 1-0, and then they very soon after that it was level, and then they were down 2-1.
But they continued to push for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
They didn't, after they scored their 2 own goals, they didn't well, it's gonna be one of those games, and they just kind of, they didn't do that. They still kind of kept their heads up and they pushed for, trying to get an equalizing goal, and at least try and get some points out of it. They were really unlucky, and unfortunately, that's how the game works sometimes. It isn't all about skill. Sometimes luck, it is what it is.
Football's a cruel mistress.
Huddersfield. We got some big news to follow up the scoreline of this game. It was a 0-0 draw between 2 teams who are both struggling to score goals this season. And it kind of showed. Neither team really had that many chances. I guess Huddersfield was ripping shots at the net, but it just wasn't on target. Let's see. Cardiff had 0 shots on goal. out of 3 shots total, and Huddersfield had 2 shots on goal out of 14.
Yeah, and a lot of that, you look at these two teams, and they're both struggling. Huddersfield is at bottom of the heap right now. They're in dead last, and they're already in a relegation fight. I mean, that I'm already going to just go ahead and say that Huddersfield is going to be fighting for their lives for the rest of the season. Yep. They had 61% possession, and they only had 297 passes. A lot of these the upper table teams. You think of the Big Five, the Big Six. They got 300 passes in the first half.
I mean, they're a team like Chelsea. Jorginho often has upwards of 150, sometimes 200 passes a match.
And even with those passes, they only had 70% completion. So I mean, and that's where a lot of the real foul up is for some of these lower level teams. And it's not fair to say lower level. These are top flight teams. They fought their way into the Premier League. So that's where they are. They are in top flight football. Whether they stay there or not is entirely up to them. But when you've got a lower half table team, a bottom of the table team like Cruddersfield, and
okay, dang,
I didn't light that fire. But when you've got 300 passes and only 70% of them are accurate, there's your issue.
Yeah.
Even with 60% possession, you have to complete those passes. You have to keep the ball moving at your own team, at the feet of your own teammates, and that just wasn't happening. I mean, 14 shots. That's a lot of shots. With, I mean, how many of you were even on target? 2.
Yeah.
So 14 shots, 2 of them on target, 4 of them missed, and the other ones were just absolute garbage. And I'm saying it. I'm saying it. And that's why Huddersfield is at the bottom of the table. And that's why Cardiff is down there with them. They were even worse.
But with Huddersfield, after the game, David Wagner mutually decided with the club to leave. He felt that he could no longer do the job that he was tasked with, and he has since left the club. So not only are Huddersfield now in a relegation battle, they are also in a search for a new manager, which is not what they want. This is not the position they want to be in right now. It's going to be a fight for them.
Yeah. And I knew that was coming with the way that Huddersfield has been struggling. They were one of 2 things, if not both, were going to happen at the end of the season. Huddersfield's going to get relegated. They're going to be championship again. And they were probably going to lose their manager. I mean, when you get promoted and then relegated, typically that manager doesn't stick around. It's just how it goes. I mean, again, football is a harsh mistress. And, if you get a team promoted, great. But they expect you to keep that team up there. So who they're looking for, I don't know. Apparently, Jose Mourinho's looking for a job. Not going to happen.
No.
I think it'll be a while before we see him back in the Premier League. I don't think his career's over, but anyway, it'll be a while before he's back in the Premier League, I think.
But Watford Palace. I'm honestly disappointed in Palace.
I'm actually. I mean, my money would have been on Watford for this match. And that's where it ended up. They had a 2-1 win. Away.
So, and I think what happened is the right Watford showed up. Watford's one of those teams that is playing really well overall this season. They're just not consistent enough. And the very consistent... No, that's not the right word. The good Watford showed up today. We'll say that. And they got the 2 goals. They did score an own goal early on, actually. But it was enough to give them the win, and I think that it's a weird season right now for some of these teams, like Watford, like Palace, like Bournemouth, who are playing really, really well overall,
right?
But just aren't consistent enough. They're not getting the wins that they should be getting. They're dropping points. They're getting draws, sometimes losing against teams that they shouldn't lose against. And it's weird, and it's showing where the table's at right now, and how points are moving, and how teams are moving.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, and Watford's just above middle of the table. They're in 7th right now. Palace playing 18th or 14th in the table. Palace was at home, had 55% possession. They had 15 total shots, 6 on target, but only 1 goal, and that was an own goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, so Watford scored all 3 goals in that game too.
Yeah. And again, the passing percentages. You're looking at 300 passes for Palace and 260 for Watford, and the percentage was 76 and 78%. Mm-hmm. That's where your game's at. I mean, you have to keep the ball moving, amongst your teammates, and that's just not happening with these teams. And like you said, they're both playing overall. They're playing well. Palace has they're limping right now because of all the injury issues that they're facing. They don't have a designated striker, but they have some willing participants, up top, in Will Zaha.
And that's another thing that's inconsistent. Is Zaha is just not. He's not scoring in the important games. He's not scoring the important goals. And it's honestly disappointing because he's a really good player. And I think he has the potential to possibly move on to bigger clubs.
And he actually didn't play in that match.
Did he not?
He did not. He was not in the starting lineup. Yeah. Up top they had. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, I was like, he did play.
I'm a moron. Yeah, he was there.
I was like, I could have swore he was there.
That's
just
my fault.
imagining.
That's my fault. I'm like, wait a minute. Gerard Delafeu. You're welcome.
Dolly Waffles.
Dolly Waffles. Gerard Delafeu. I was like, wait a minute. I was looking at the wrong side of the pitch. My fault. Nobody caught that but me, so that's okay. So,
anyways, yeah, I don't know. Zaha is he's not consistent enough either. Like I said, it's a shame because he has the potential to move to a bigger club, but he's not performing at that potential all the time, and it's a shame, honestly. He's a much better player than he kind of shows himself to be, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say that with you too. Southampton's. I mean, they're rolling
back in the
right
win
now,
column.
Man. Yeah, they're rolling right now. They're actually doing really well. I'm excited for them. They took an away win at the King Power. A 2-1 win, and they even played the second half a man down. Valerie got a second yellow right before halftime, and they scored their second goal right after that.
Yeah, I mean, to bring your head up from that red card, score the goal, and then play the entire second half a man down, only letting in 1 goal.
Yeah.
That shows the kind of heart and spirit that Hasenhüttl has got this team in. It's amazing. It is awesome to watch Southampton play. Probably my favorite team to watch right now. Well, all right, I'll say second favorite team to watch right now because United's kind of fun to watch right now with Solskjaer. We'll go over that later.
And the funny thing is, I'm looking at these match stats, and everything that I just said about you have to pass accurately and this and that, Southampton completely took every bit of that, wrote it down on a really nice piece of paper, crumpled it up, and threw it right out the frickin' window. Because they had 28% possession. They had 127 passes at 56% accuracy. And they won 2-1 with the man down.
You got to remember, with the man down, it kind of hurts. It kind of changes their tactics. They played more defensively in the second half because they were that man down. You can't attack with 10 men much because you leave yourself open. And you don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
For sure. So I think that may have been what it was. That was just kind of change of tactics. All right, sit back, attack with maybe 3 or 4 people. Make sure you can get back and defend when we need it. And it worked. They let in 1 goal, unfortunate, but it was enough. They got the win. And it's awesome to see that.
And there were 8 total shots for Southampton. Was it 7 of them from inside the box, 1 of them from outside the box, and they got 2 goals. Total shots for Leicester was 23. 23 shots, 6 of them on target, and with one goal. It was who scored the goal? I think it was Ndidi. I think it was Ndidi. Ndidi Wilfred Ndidi. Yep, in the 58th. So yeah, I mean, whatever Ralph Hasenhutl's got Southampton doing, that back to basics is what I see with them. I mean, it's really just it's simplistic, it's efficient, and it's straightforward. There's nothing. Shane Long has 4 goals for each of the last 4 managers. 1 goal per manager. So hopefully he gets another goal for Ralph Hasenhüttl. Hopefully he's not done for the season waiting for a new manager to come and score again. That would be unfortunate.
Scores a goal. All right, sitting on the bench for the season. I'm done.
All done, folks.
No, I don't think Hasenhüttl will let that happen.
I don't think that'll let.
Chelsea Newcastle. This was another really good game. Very happy to see Chelsea back in the win column. Not exactly excited by the small margin of a win, but it was a win nonetheless. I'll take it. Really good goal from Pedro. It was from David Luiz. David Luiz played a long ball, and Pedro just kind of grabbed it and put it in the net. It was brilliant. It was amazing. And Willian, really happy to see Willian back on the score sheet, especially after leaving early the last match.
He's my man of the match.
Yeah, and that's what.
And that's been pretty regular. I mean, even with if he leaves early, he's not coming on as a sub lately. Usually he's being subbed off. But he played 90 minutes this time, I think. But he's he's super creative. He's the Chelsea.
Workhorse.
Yeah, he's the Chelsea version of Kevin De Bruyne to me. It's two different styles.
I would
really.
give N'Golo Kante that title, but
okay, all right, and I won't take that away. But this was a typical Chelsea. It wasn't like a ripping rout like Chelsea can pull off. Yeah, but a 2-1 win over Newcastle. I mean, but they're at Stamford Bridge. So you kind of expect them to win. Plus, it's Chelsea. And they're kind of cooking with gas again right now too. Sarri's got them kind of moving along, but yeah, they had 66% possession. What was their pass percent? They had 596 passes.
Yeah, and that's
at an 85% accuracy. That's what I'm talking about.
And that's Sarri ball. I mean, and that's the epitome of Sarri ball. Is keep the possession for as long as possible, and as soon as you lose the ball, your first job is to win the ball back.
Correct.
It's like you said earlier, back to basics. Simplicity. Lose the ball, get the ball back.
Go get it back.
Keep the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly doesn't get much harder than that.
And that's one of the things, when we play pickup and things like that. I don't know if Robert's listening, but our buddy Robert, when he play, and he and I are on the same page when it comes to if you don't have a pass moving forward, it's okay to pass backwards. A negative pass, recycle it, pivot it, bring it down the other side, restart. And a lot of times you see a lot of these teams that are struggling a little bit. They just want to pound the ball through. They just want to pound it up to the other end, move forward, and that's when they lose it. Mm-hmm. Teams like Man City, teams like Chelsea. Chelsea is probably the poster child for we'll take a negative pass as long as we get to keep possession.
To prove that point, Jorginho is the first player in Premier League history to accumulate 2,000 passes. Oh, did you just type that? Yeah.
Way to go, Seamus.
2,000 passes without an assist. I read that stat the other day, and it blew my mind, but it makes sense. Because Jorginho is the guy in the center. He's the one dishing out the passes to create the chances. He's not looking for the assist. He's looking for the chance to be created before he plays his ball.
Yeah, workhorse. It's a good way to put it. He's the workhorse.
In my opinion, the Chelsea midfield right now is probably one of the strongest in the Premier League. To have N'Golo Kante with Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, and Ross Barkley switching out, it is one of the best, and it's fun to watch because they keep the ball really well. And they're always looking for the right chances to either recycle it back to the defense or to find Willian, to find Pedro, to find Hazard up top and create those chances. It's just, it's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. You know, I mean, it's that, and we've mentioned it before on the show that that's that fluid, silky football that Chelsea is known for, and they're getting better at it, and it's disturbing, as but good for them. It was a good game. Yeah, okay.
Everton back in the win column finally. Unfortunately, it was against Bournemouth. I really thought Bournemouth would be able to pull this one out. It was kind of disappointing to see that they lost. But Everton played well, which is something that they needed. They needed to pick it back up. They needed to have something in the right direction. What?
Oh, nothing. Seamus talking about bye Fabregas.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when we get to the transfers.
Talk to transfers at the end.
Hold your horses, buddy. Yeah. You're not in charge.
But yeah, like I said, it was really good to see Everton back in the win column. They needed a big morale booster to kind of keep them because they are currently, I have no idea where they are on the table. See, they're back in 10th now, so they're back in the top half.
And Bournemouth is in 12th.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, Bournemouth is having a decent season. I don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle anytime soon.
Yeah, statistics wise, it was a pretty even match. Mm-hmm. I mean, right down the middle with a lot of it.
I don't know, it just seemed like Everton took their chances, which is sometimes what it's about. When you've got an even end-to-end match like that was, it's whoever takes the chances first. And Everton was able to capitalize on it. I mean, it's really all I got.
For the biggest part of it, it came down to the goalkeeping. Mm-hmm. Is really what it was. I mean, even the shots was pretty similar. But Everton, Jordan Pickford blocked more shots, and really it came down to that. I think.
Who was in that? Begovic actually had 0 saves. If you look at the stats, well, Pickford had 7. So
that's a huge difference. They had the passing, they had the completions, they had the shots. The goalkeepers, it was a duel for there.
But speaking of saves,
small arms.
I apologize, David De Gea, for all of the smack that I've talked about you in the past year and a half ish. What a game!
For all of it.
So
he's the best goalkeeper in the world now.
No.
Oh.
I don't think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I have been very prominent, and Ian can back me up on this. He's a good goalkeeper.
He is a good goalkeeper.
Do not get me wrong. Do not get us wrong. He is a good goalkeeper. And he showed it in this game. He had his positioning perfect every time. He was, his reaction was on point. Every time that it looked like, oh well, this is Tottenham's goal. This is where it is.
Yeah,
he was there, and it was brilliant. It was excellent goalkeeping, and that's one of my favorite things to see in soccer is when a goalkeeper has a fantastic game like that. Oh, it's so much fun to watch. Personally, at least.
Yeah, I mean it is exciting. When you've got, because I listened, it looked like a shooting gallery at one point. Tottenham was pressing. And they were taking the shots, they were taking the risks, they were throwing men forward. Well, just David De Gea said, "Not on my watch."
There's also Harry Kane taking shots. Let's be honest, Harry Kane's shots are just kind of.
And we'll get
throw my foot at the ball.
We'll get there.
Anyways, but it was a really good win and a much deserved win from United. They definitely fought for this win, and they were on the back foot for most of the game.
Yes.
I think Tottenham were the better team. And they played better, but United were much more efficient and much smarter. They attacked when they had the chance. Fantastic assist from Paul Pogba. Yeah. Great vision to find Marcus Rashford over on the cross on the right side. And fantastic work from Rashford to get that ball in and to find the corner against Lloris. Brilliant goal. But it just... almost the entire match, United were defending, and they had the whole team defending, and it was efficient and smart defending.
You could tell things were getting. There was 8 each, I think, on fouls.
But I mean, it doesn't show where those fouls were. It didn't seem to me like there were many fouls in the back. for United. They were, like I said, they were very smart defending, and sometimes that's what it's all about. Sometimes that's just the tactics. You attack on the counter and you take advantage of what you got. But I think Solskjaer's got a whole different United team right now.
I think he's got them comfortable.
Yes.
Their 13 passes, 475 to 268. Even the accuracy was 84% and 74%. So definitely Tottenham played the better match. But like Thomas said, United having fun. They're expressing themselves. They're patient.
He's
like you said, Tottenham was the better team, and I'll agree with that. And the statistics hold that out. You look at the stats. The better use of what they had going on, and they weren't afraid to sit back a little bit and absorb some of the pressure that Tottenham kept putting on, and they let David De Gea do his work. The cat put in work. 11 saves?
Yeah.
He's broken his own season record.
Yeah.
For saves,
which was 7.
So, were they defending well? They weren't defending badly. They weren't, it was just, but they trusted their goalkeeper.
Yes.
I think their goalkeeper is trusting his back line. The shots that came in were shots that Tottenham earned to take. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh my God, this man's wide open. It wasn't stuff like that. And some of the shots that Tottenham took were just insane. It was like serious rippers. Like, where the heck did he come up with that save? But he was always where he was supposed to be, and you could tell when he made that save, he stood up with confidence. He's like, "Yep, that's exactly what I intended to do." He was so calm, so cool, like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And he's right, and we have talked a lot of crap about David De Gea, and the biggest thing I talk crap about him is because people say over and over and over and over and over he's the best goalkeeper in the world. No, he's not.
He's up there.
He's a good goalkeeper.
He's up there.
He's top 5.
Oh, absolutely.
He's top 5.
I would say. I'm thinking right now. I would say he's probably top 3. In my opinion, he's top 3.
Okay.
I would have to go right now. Alisson. I would say Alisson, Ederson, David De Gea, and that's my top 3.
In that order?
In that order.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That just based on how teams are doing, and just from skill that I've seen them, from what I've seen, that's my top 3. But
what about Thibaut Courtois?
God, no.
Only because he left Chelsea?
The fact that
he's not having a good season right now.
The fact that he left a team, went to a better team, and is now performing worse shows that it was the back 4 in front of him, in my opinion.
Okay.
Or it was back 5.
Well, there's your answer there, Seamus McLaughlin. However, you have to tell me how to say that on Sunday.
Anyway, so last game, City Wolves, exactly the kind of scoreline you would expect to see. 3-0. Goal from Jesus. Actually,
Gabriel Jesus, and then he had the PK.
And then an own goal late in the 78th minute. And there was a lot of controversy in the 20th minute with Willy Bolly's red card. I think, yes, it was a red card.
I agree.
It was a late challenge. Did he mean it? Was he going in intending to harm Bernardo Silva? No,
but he was so late, and he was nowhere near the ball.
And his studs were up.
He was studs up, both feet off the ground. They had zero control over that tackle. Mm-hmm. And I think the referee made the right decision. The referee took a little bit of time to maybe even think about it, and even maybe talk to his assistant.
It did look like he ran over to the fourth official or the assistant to maybe talk it through first, which is smart. That's excellent refereeing. That's exactly what you want to see. But even Nuno came out and said yes, it was a red card.
Yeah, and Willy Bolly didn't.
He didn't protest.
He didn't protest. Everybody's going to protest. Like, come on, man, it's red. But that was about the extent of his protest. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, come on, man, you can't tell that's not a red card. Like, oh, all right. And then and then he went and and he apologized. Like, bro, I'm sorry. Which was class. Mm-hmm. Sure. Because it just tells you these guys really aren't ever out there to hurt each other. Unless you're Zinedine Zidane, you want to headbutt somebody.
That's true.
But it is what it is. Wolves showed a ton of character.
Yep. Because they still played really well. Despite the scoreline, despite the red card, they had a fantastic game. You're going up against a team like City. It's going to be a hard game to beat. And I think they still played really well. They were able to, get some attacks in. They were able to, push a little bit. And they even defended really well. It's just a matter of, they were down a man playing against the current champions, the team in second place right now, who's on a roll.
Yeah. And Seamus is bringing up a good point. He goes, but the company challenge on Salah, when was that? It wasn't this week. It was last week. When did they play City? 2 weeks ago.
No,
anyway,
last week.
Anyway, was it last week?
Mm-hmm.
It should have been a red card. And he's trying to call out the referees, and I'm complete agreeance. The referees really need to be more consistent. A lot of these bigger teams aren't getting shown red cards. And it's the same with the yellow cards. If a guy's on a yellow card, there was one, I forget which game I was watching the other day, but somebody was on a yellow card, and he committed it wasn't like the worst foul I've ever seen, but it was a clear foul.
Mm-hmm.
In open play. The referee blew the whistle, gave the free kick, put his hand in his pocket on the yellow card, and then and you could tell the gear turned like, oh, wait a minute, that this guy's already on a yellow, and if I give him a second yellow, I have to send him off, and I don't want to. So, and I'm sitting here, I remember watching, I'm trying to remember who it was.
I think it was the same game.
But I watched it, and I thought, wait a minute, he just gave a yellow card for that to the same guy.
It was
for a lesser foul. And like the consistency, yes, the consistency has to be there.
It was a United player. I believe I want to say Lingard. And you were thinking he was on a yellow, but he wasn't. Because I remember we talked about this. But I'm pretty sure it was Lingard. It was one of the attackers who made a bad tackle on the back.
I don't know. But and it's not the first time I've seen it though, and you can tell, or if someone's, if the foul's given away in the box, oh, I don't want to give away a penalty. It might change the game. Well, it might, yeah. But that's not the referee's responsibility. The referee's responsibility is to maintain fair play and discipline. Mm-hmm. Is that PK going to change the outcome of the match? Yes. But that player should have thought about that before he committed that foul inside the area.
And I think that brings up the importance of VAR as well. Because that could very much help the decisions made. It won't make the decisions, but it could help the referee make the right decision.
Right, and that's something.
And make sure that the calls go the right way, and make sure the game is called completely 100% fairly.
Right, and I think that's something that maybe a point needs to be brought out. That I think a lot of people may be against VAR because they think VAR is going to make the decision for the ref, and that's false. The way VAR is set up to be used and has been being used in the tournaments and matches and leagues that it's being used in, Bundesliga, where it's been put to great use in the Bundesliga. Mm-hmm. VAR is not going to make the decision for you. If anybody watches Premiership Rugby, they have a television match official. And the main referee rarely makes a decision based solely on what he or his assistants have seen. Mm-hmm. You can hear them talking. It's the coolest thing in the world. They have a microphone.
Yeah, they had it in football.
They have a microphone on the referee, and he's talking, and he'll tell the TMO, hey, I want you to go back about 15 seconds ago, and I want you to look at number 7 on number 20. Was that a legal hit, or things like. But VAR is not going to make the decisions. The VAR referee, who is going to be sitting wherever he's going to be sitting, in a truck or in a studio somewhere watching the match from different angles, he's going to say, oh, hey, Mike Dean, whoever the referee is, I'm just using his name because that's the first one that came to mind. You might want to go back and look at that play, on the left wing, just have a close look at it and see what you think. And Mike Dean will be like, oh, okay. And he'll go over and he'll look at the screen for a couple minutes and they'll show him. At that point, he has the same advantage we do as spectators watching TV. We can second guess referees all day long because you got to see it 4 different times from 3 different angles and all of them in slow motion. Yeah. The referee gets one look at full speed from one angle, and that's it. And he's got to make a decision based on what he saw. And then, there's a formula they've got to put into practice. And of course, he's got assistants too. He's in constant communication with. But the VAR is just going to be one more person who's going to have the advantage to look at it in slow motion, change the angle a little bit, and then say, listen, you might want to go take a look at this. And yeah, it's going to add a completely different aspect of fair play to the game. One, diving. I'm telling you,
yes.
Diving, especially in the box, I'm over it. I'm so done with it. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in players like Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane, because Tottenham won on a penalty on a Harry Kane dive. And it was an FA Cup or EFL Cup the other day. EFL Cup. It was clearly a dive. It was insane.
It was Carabao Cup.
Yeah, it was absolutely the most insane dive. It was clear. It was deliberate. He should have been booked for that, but instead he got a penalty that won Tottenham that match. And I'm sure that's going to light all kinds of fires with my Tottenham supporter friends. Looking at you, Scott Ogden, and that's okay. But I'm over diving. Whether it's in the box or out of the box, I don't care where it is. If I get clipped and stomped and kicked and everything playing all the time, and I can't tell you, I can count on one hand how many times I've actually fallen down because someone hit me so hard. On one hand. That many times. That's how many times I've fallen down and had to take a second because someone hurt me that bad. And I'm telling you, I've been clattered. I've had ribs broken. I've lost toenails. And these guys, it hurts. But I don't know, and I'm not saying I have a different constitution than these guys. They're just somewhere they're taught, embellish this, make it worse than it seems. Instead of just play the game, man. Mm-hmm. Keep the ball rolling. Anyway, rant over. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
But we'll move on to some transfers and some other.
Oh yeah, we still got
news.
Transfers.
The biggest one, and really the only one that I'm really gonna go over is Cesc Fabregas is leaving. Chelsea. He hasn't been playing, but he will be moving to Thierry Henry's Monaco. Apparently Monaco has been struggling this season, which is weird because they've been towards the top. Anyways, but hopefully he can go up to Monaco and secure the midfield and maybe help Monaco win some games there. Good luck to Cesc Fabregas. Thank you for being a Blue. It's been a pleasure watching you. And hopefully we'll hear some good things from you. That's really the only transfer that I have.
Hang on, I just found a new one. Let me make sure I'm talking about the right dude here. Pereira from Watford?
No, different
Pereira. Okay,
different Pereira.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I just saw that Pereira went to
Atlanta United. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
it went from Watford to Atlanta United. Today.
Yeah, I think it's a different Pereira.
Oh, yeah, it is spelled differently. Okay, so anyway. But, Brahim Diaz.
That was... He's like a kid.
Brahim Diaz to Real Madrid. He's a young City star, 40% sell on increase. If Real sell to United. City... Okay.
Different Pereira.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but like I said, that's the biggest transfer. That's really the only one that I'm gonna cover, unless you.
I really don't, and this transfer window has actually been kind of
slow,
kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of stuff's going to start really heating up in the summer. There's a lot of stuff, and apparently the new trend is now, hey, let's sign this guy, but we're going to leave him out on loan to his team that we're buying him from.
And I'm okay with it because
finish out the season.
It shows that they want to finish out the season. Sure. Like with Pulisic, he said, yeah, I would love to join Chelsea, but I want to finish out my season with Dortmund. I want to try and help them win a title before I come to you. That's respectable. I can understand that.
I have no issues with that. If you guys have any more, leave us some notes. Ryan Babel, I saw that going to Fulham.
But see,
I mean, the biggest thing really was David Wagner stepping down.
Yeah.
So good luck to him. Huddersfield, Cruttersfield, whatever.
And
struggling.
Harry Kane will be out 6 weeks due to an ankle injury.
He did this same thing. I think he just doesn't like playing in February.
Maybe. But I mean, normally about the same time that Tottenham kind of start their mid-season slump, is when Harry Kane just kind of goes, nah, not gonna play.
We were watching the Tottenham game yesterday.
We did.
And at the end of the match, Harry Kane played 90 minutes. At the end of the match, and I think he had 7 shots, 0 assists, 0 goals. Anyway. But at the end of the match, everybody's out there walking around the pitch, shaking hands, trading jerseys, and all that stuff. I didn't see that. He said Son is now out for a few weeks.
Yeah, Son is going out for the Asian Games, or the Asian Cup.
Okay,
he'll be out for a couple weeks as well.
And that's going to be a big miss for Tottenham to have both of those guys sitting. Well, not sitting. One of them just not around. But as soon as Harry Kane's sitting down, the physios were out there working on him after the match was over, and I looked at Thomas and I said, he's out for 6 weeks. You watch, ankle injury. And sure enough, ankle injury, and out for 6 weeks.
The funny thing is I was working today, and I got a smartwatch, and I got a notification from FOTMOP, breaking news, Kane out for 6 weeks with ankle injury, and I didn't have my phone on me because I was working. And I look at it, I'm like, oh my God. Dude, we called that. It was the craziest thing, and of course he sent it to me because it seems
what I do.
It was just so predictable, and that's the sad thing about it is we were calling it immediately.
Yeah. No, we've been wrong about other things, but anyway, that one we were not wrong about. So listen, guys, the banter, the comments here, fantastic. Seamus, thank you so much, man. Apparently my dog is in the living room watching. My wife commented, said my dog's watching. So hi, Molly. I'll be out in a minute. Thanks for the input, guys. Really, keep that coming. Mm-hmm. It makes it so much more fun when it's interactive like this. This is why we went. Thanks a lot, Seamus. We appreciate it, man. The support is fantastic. It was for you, Aaron Gobra and all that stuff. But I'm talking to our fans, man. Okay. You know who you are.
Anyways, that's all I have for today.
That's all I have too. It's getting kind of chippy in here now, a little punchy. But big thanks to Thomas, who does all of our editing and production. He does all of that. Check out the T-shirt shop. The links are in the bio below. Huge shout out to our friend Macrophonic MC for letting us use the music. That's his music here on the intro and the outro. His links are there too. Please check those out. He is a phenomenal artist. And he's just an all-around good guy. He's a good family man. He's a hard worker, and he's a very talented artist. Check him out. Go to the T-shirt shop, buy a T-shirt, buy them for your friends. Leave us comments. Tell us what you want to see, what you don't want to see. What do you want to talk about? We don't have to just go game by game by game. If there's something you guys want to talk about, let us know. Mm-hmm. We'll dig up some stats. We'll dig up some information. We'll talk about it. Get on the chat. Get in here with us, man.
Like, subscribe. Notification bell.
See you next time.
Bye.
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up